All right, welcome to another episode of DioTalk. Today we're having technical difficulties, so welcome to the show, guys. Give a warm welcome to Nick Harris. Give a warm welcome to Elvis Matos. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
So we started off with an interesting conversation on COVID-19, right? And the whole episode is 2021 wrap up. And the way we're ending it is that majority of people have COVID now, right?
They got Omicron now.
Omicron.
I was waiting for it. He's like, which one is it?
Which variant now? We on a different variant.
Let me go down the list real quick.
So you guys were sharing your thoughts before we started recording, right?
Mm.
And you guys are giving very, very interesting point of views. Who wants to start sharing?
Please, the floor is yours, King.
All right. So in the previous discussion, we was just talking about basically, people are at the point when it comes to COVID, it's just like it is what it is now. Like we're just gonna live with it. Just continue day by day. At one point, it's like I said, you're living in your own prison and you're sheltered because you don't know what's going on. But then at a certain point, you just like, man, fuck this shit. I gotta get outside. I gotta live my life and everything. Like it stopped people from living, stopped people from doing what they normally did. It because no one knew what this was. And when you have a pandemic or something's going on and spreads like a mass panic, everybody's going to stand still. But then it comes to a point where so people are going to revolt from that. They're going to be like, well, all right, well, this is happening, but I'm not infected by it, so I'm going to live. I'm going to do me. Blasey, everybody's going to go about it. So, no, I personally just tell people if you're vaccinated, that's cool. If you're not vaccinated, it don't matter to me. I look at it as like it's there. We can't really make it go away. Unfortunately, it's there. Rather you want to say it's airborne or it's contagious with touch or breath, whatever the case may be, it is here, and obviously it ain't going nowhere. So I think a lot of people now they just made the necessary adjustment. Said, fuck it, I wear my mask where I'm supposed to. Otherwise, I take my chances.
Yeah. It's
my thing is that like because I've been reading a few articles and they're basically it's like they're speaking very subliminally, like they're saying in between the words like people that have vaccine because they're not feeling the effects, they're basically spreading it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like there's a high level of people infected now.
so I'm understanding this, if I'm understanding it correctly. Vaccinated folk are only immune to feeling that they have it, so they're carrying it on to other people who feel it because they're unvaccinated.
Pretty much. That's basically what they've been saying. The vaccine isn't a cure; it's just a vaccine, and it takes the symptoms away from the virus.
Mm.
That's it. So it was like It's like a HD placebo shot, basically.
So
That's
the
basically what it is.
vaccine, the virus never went away. I mean, we carry it, and it's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The vaccine, you know, worked effectively, right? Because you're not feeling any symptoms, but
You still
uh,
have it. You can still have
people are
it.
still dying, right? Like, is it something that's deteriorating our body slowly that we don't know about?
I
That's a
wouldn't
good question.
I wouldn't say so. I'm no expert. I know I said that earlier. It my run with it last year in January before it even got out as the pandemic and what it was, the COVID-19 joint. This was all before like it even hit the news. I was out like laid out for almost 3 weeks off of this thing, and describing it is like having every sickness I've ever had all at the same time all over again at once. Just it was a hit of it was like life's greatest hits, sickness
Mm.
edition. I swear to you, it was literally that feeling of dying but not really. Like, I don't really like where I'm at. And so everything just at that point, I knew it wasn't anything normal I've ever had because nothing ever put me at this particular point where I was at physically, like debilitated to the point that I could not even move out of bed, but so uncomfortable, sweating and not. So many things were happening. That's how I knew that that was going. Um, Going through that and then getting out of it where other people aren't, I could see where it could really have a lot to do with your immune system, what you eat, your patterns, and how you do your day to day. I was smoking heavy cigarettes still at that time. Not only that, but I was under some extreme stress, moving from place to place. It was the winter time in Massachusetts. So, like, there were so many factors. Who knows what could have ultimately been the real issue or the real underlying issue? I just know that I'm not gonna rule it out and say it didn't really have or it wasn't that relevant. I really do believe that this thing is preventable depending on how your health and your day to day is. But the vaccine as well, I don't see all of the reasons people say not to get it as reasons not to get it. You know what I'm saying? I do give that it's positives too. Like it's gonna have to have a balance, and maybe that's just me by nature. I'm gonna question like all the rest of us, but at the same time, is it really? Are people really at the end of the day gonna like? Is that really what it is? We're gonna be over here thinking that the government just wants to brainwash us for the rest of our lives and leave that as the panic because at some point, we gotta grow ourselves up and do
I
something
feel
about
that I feel that 100%. I agree with you. I think, like, in my opinion, like, I have questions, right? Because I also read
it.
an article that they're not releasing the information pertaining the creation of the vaccine into like 2076 or something like that, right?
The fuck?
I don't for every drug out there, there's a cause and effect.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be a guinea pig for something that they half-assed. They needed something to get out there for the people because the people were going crazy. Now tell me they had this vaccine for years now because COVID's been around for years now. There's even a research lab, I think in China, I think, I'm not sure, right? That basically the whole thing is to research COVID. So this has been around for years.
Mm.
So it's either A, this vaccine we've had it, and the problem we haven't, we thought that it was gonna get out, so we didn't manufacture it. So when it did came out, we had to basically put some supplies, or we just did some hocus pocus shit and put it out there for the people could be feel safe. And don't get me wrong, apparently it works. because we don't feel symptoms. But yet, I'm not a vaccinated person, and today I went to get tested, and I'm COVID positive. I'm not sure if tomorrow or the day before is gonna get to me, but like I am, everybody in my house is down, and I'm the only one standing taking care of everybody. So what it is.
It's a testament to every individual. I mean, you got to look at this down. We're not all going to be degree level experts with this, but we all can have a base level understanding if we're honest. It's anatomically speaking, we all have our very own identified DNA. We're all individual. There's only one individual of ourselves in this entire globe for this period of time that we're in. So like when I speak to those things, anytime I do, it's really truly speaking to that factor. You might honestly just genetically in your pool be the one that can be a carrier who can push through the physical symptoms of a disease like this or of a virus like this, whereas everyone else might have different periods of time where they're recovering or might have gotten hit by it, hours or days apart. It ultimately is going to depend. It's like getting our genetic pool understanding when we go through our family histories. What are we more inclined to or exposed to or predisposed to type stuff? Again, you add your day-to-day habits, your food intakes, the things that you understand about you, and you add all that together. And honestly, I really feel that that can be just as helpful, if not just as informative for any individual trying to get past this thing or trying to get past these challenges. Because I agree, not everybody is going to want to take this thing. Not everybody is what you call it, is obligated to do so. It's it's America, so right, this is the thing about that. Me personally, I wish it would just be like, all right, we're all just gonna go do this and stop being semantics about it. But that's not the case. Everybody doesn't have their perfect world. We're at a place where everybody gets a choice. So this is what it is. I get it, but I also understand that information too. And as a person just like us, you got to just learn to respect it and find rapport, because it's not always how the data speaks to it. Having it falling down, then recovering or dying. The pattern doesn't go the same exact way for every individual.
Nah, well, for me, I'm not no. I hate to sound like how you say, as they would say, a conspiracy theorist. But like me, do I trust the government? No, not really. Cer- Like
In other words, hell no.
I used to look, and I used to work for the government. So trust me, I know. So we share that in common. So I don't trust them fully, and me personally, like known in history of the government as far as when it came to blacks and natives, because people was so mad that a lot of black people wasn't rushing to get the vaccine or anything, because they
Rightfully so.
like, bruh, I know my history. Y'all told us the free what was that, the free healthcare if we did these tests, whatever, and giving basically black people was syphilis, I think, and stuff like that.
Mm.
Tuskegee
So,
Project, and some shit
so
like
my
that.
whole thing is, and I tell people this all the time. I said you can say it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but if the government that I'm a part of, that I'm in, did this to my people before I was born and everything else, there's not going to be that much trust in that government knowing certain things. So I tell people you can't get mad at like certain folks, like even natives. Like you can't get mad at them for not wanting to get it, because like yo, we know what the government done did to us. They told us lies, and look, come on, we got government cover ups. Like you can't sit there and honestly sit there and tell me like there isn't never been a government cover up or anything like that. I don't care whether you a logical thinker, conspiracy thinker or not, you know, there is just some shit you're gonna cover up.
Well,
It's part of but
didn't it do like an article? Didn't NASA just hire a dozen? I can't remember the name of it. To like basically hire they hire a bunch of doctors to basically to help connect. It's basically to help us come to acceptance that we might have aliens.
That we might have what?
Aliens,
Aliens?
yes.
Oh, they exist. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm one of the people to tell you straight up. They exist.
That's a pure fact.
I'm not gonna. I ain't gonna lie. I live a normal life, but I know damn well there's some shit out there. I said we just don't know, but there's some shit out there. I said I'm sorry.
Straight
I
the
believe
fuck
in
up
God
and
and everything, but I know there's some other shit out there too.
down. Straight the fuck up and down. Yeah. Speaking to that, listen. Getting into the real of it, it's definitely you got to look at this thing on in two types of ways. Um, reality and fantasy are being meshed by people who understand what we're discussing, but have the intentions negatively that they have, meaning for their own gain and for our demise. Whereas we have the intention of sharing this knowledge with others so that they can be just as empowered as us. That's been the difference in tipping points. And over I don't know how many years of this rat race that we've been doing with life, sharing knowledge and then keeping knowledge, it's clear. All right. It's clear in understanding that there is way more than just the face value. Reality has the face value of things. Fantasy has the luxury of making things seem bigger than at times what they may seem or are. But more often than not, fantasy gets mixed with the reality, like I was saying, for the sake of people stopping belief or stopping their capacity. It's like we just now are starting to realize that we have manifesting abilities, because you wondered for so long why so many things were going wrong in life, so many movies and so many things that are that were spawned for a culture of negativity, and so many things that just came into play that became popular, and why negative stuff is just so much the thing. Ratings for shows and movies and all this other stuff. It's because the power of negativity holds that much sway over a population of people. It's easier to believe because positivity is that addictive when it is exposed, when you have it open. But it's easy to like snuff out. I don't know why. I'm trying to figure that part out right now. Positivity in a realistic world for people doesn't seem realistic because we're so used to only fantasizing about what we want. But that comes from being told that we should have way more than what it actually takes to get. It's like this weird game of like separating what we can do with what we wish we could have at the thought of we'll never get it. People spend more time now. Go ahead.
No, continue.
That sounds like the Matrix.
I didn't want to just say it. I did not just want to say it. I didn't just want to say
I
it.
just watched the Matrix not too long ago, bro. Sounds like the Matrix, bro.
Right? And so we're in this place where we're starting to come out of this idea thought bubble. We are manifestors. Also, this is a real thing. Oh, so you mean to tell me that I've just been creating my own negativity? You can get into it further. They've been doing that in this country for so long because it's like you're saying, as soon as we figure out we can replicate the government and do it on our own, we're gonna go about things by ourselves. Because like as soon as we can figure out agriculture as an individual people, as soon as we can figure out more medicines and remedies for our individual selves, we won't have to continue to depend on the medical industries and all these other things that are set in place, and we grow up thinking that are the things we have to continue going to. I'm a victim of it myself. Coming up, when I have a headache, I would always resort to Excedrin and all these other medicines that they have available. Granted, I'm not downing anything about technology, how far we've come. Some of these things are great and they're groundbreaking, but overall, we want to be we want to get into the place where as a society we can be just as able to self-sustain than to also depend on an entity, because isn't that the idea of a government, to help us be more independent?
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And you want to know what's funny? And I think a lot of people forget this. Um, yeah, we could give life, but people forget that this world that we in, it actually gives life. It nurtures life. It heals life, but it also destroys life at the same time. And a lot of people seem to forget that. And it's like you said with the remedies and stuff like that. Like, I believe there's a cure for every disease that's out here. Period. You think I'm saying? And I say that because this beautiful planet that we've been blessed to be on has so many natural resources that are not only essential for our bodies, but like it's healing. It's like almost everything. You know what I mean? Like out in the youth, almost if half the stuff that we take now versus if we didn't take it, like yo, our lives will live longer than the regular life expectancy. Because like our life expectancy probably what, like 75 years old, probably, or 60 or something like that. But I think if like someone that has all the natural remedies and all that, and they can live extremely long time. I don't know how long a human can live, but I think it could definitely be longer than what we have now.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are brainwashed that you need this, you need that, you need that, when the cure is right in front of your face. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people just don't see that no more.
I
I
agree.
agree. I agree.
I
I
definitely agree.
agree.
That puts me in a mindset of where I was at one point as a kid observing the world then. And some of that time, human beings and their behaviors were, I addressed earlier, fantasy and reality and the mix up with those two. Um, Early in like the 2000s, the early 2000s, the 90s, hell, even like the years just before the 2010s, it was almost like anybody talking about herbalists and like living outside and tree hugging was almost like clowned and made fun of in a way. Or I don't know if it was just me, but I would see a lot of that be like joked on, because technology, and we got so hip and so into this idea of like where that was going. I remember phones back when like Boost Mobile was a huge thing, and the BlackBerry, and even the little iPod. Like during those years of come up, tech was like such a thing that everybody clinged on, that like doing anything outside of it was like you weren't with the times. It's like if you weren't a sneakerhead, you didn't know what that was about, or like if you didn't like sports, you didn't know what these guys were about. It's like it became a thing. So if you weren't depending on what technology was giving us and separating us more from away from nature, you were a weirdo. If you wanted to be tree hugger, or you wanted to be a Rasta or an herbalist or somebody just naturally inclined, it wasn't as like super embraced then. And now it's like entrepreneurship. Everybody and their mom wants to be the next expert. But people like us who have like watched this thing go on for years, that's the thought that jumps into my head when you mention what you mentioned. It's that dichotomy that we're dealing with. We're at a point in time that thought really was the thing. frowning upon naturalism. But now, because of that, this is what we're getting. More people wanting to realize, oh, it really is about this. It isn't just about going to a supermarket and getting your meat. You got to know that this was slaughtered somewhere that's unhealthy in a way. So you got that thought, but then you also got what that's doing to the environment.
I think also it's also like uh, I keep saying this. There's so much traffic. There's so much people doing the same shit that back then, like you said, there was tree huggers and people in that area. Like everybody was in their own community. Now there's so much of everything doing the same thing, right? That it's difficult to de- uh, notice the difference of
Like,
what's going on.
it's like being
Um,
more stuff was the thing.
yeah, we depend, we depend a lot on technology. Like, do you remember any person's number by heart?
Not no more, other than my own. But that was the
Only,
thing.
only about
We
only
should do
about
that.
two numbers I remember. The rest I'm like shit.
Yep. Like I was talking to Ray Arcadi. That's that thing. Episode 49 or 48, if not I'm mistaken, right? And we were talking, and I flipped the script on him. Like, what happens if the grid goes out? There's no light. There's no computers, right? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? We depend so much on that, right? On technology and for our daily life that has become a necessity. It's become we're unable to function without it. So like, what are we doing?
No, that's true. Like when I believe it was Twitter, Facebook, Instagram went down. It was like a mass hysteria. Like everybody was panicking. Like I can't get into Twitter. I can't get on Instagram. I can't get in my Facebook not working. Da 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 and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, it's not your life. You know what I mean? But for some people, that is their life, unfortunately. And like you said, you gonna hear something funny. When this pandemic became a pandemic, when they announced this whole thing, and before I moved out into like the county and shit, and I lived in a city, my neighbor he had asked me, he said, "Yo, why you not panicking? Why you ain't getting no waters, no tissue, no none of this and everything?" And I said, "Well, I said I have that stuff already." He's like, "Well, what you mean?" I said, "Well, I'm prepared for things like this for pandemics." I said, "If you ever like in high school, I paid attention to everything. When they told us about emergency kits, first aid kits, like with the Red Cross and
Yeah.
everything, dude, I always had stuff stacked up in the basement. I got a whole emergency kit. I even got a mask. Like I have all that stacked up just in case for this day. So like imagine when that happened. Like me personally, like this, if this was a movie, I'm like, I've been waiting for this day. You know, even though I wasn't, but like if this was a movie, like that's what I would have said. I'm like, damn, I've been waiting for this day. I knew it would come.
Happened.
And a lot of people and people depend on technology so much. Like technology definitely can save you, but it can kill
Yeah.
you as well. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize that. Some you still gotta have the natural way of doing things. You still gotta prepare for certain technology ain't gonna sit there and have a first aid kit or a case of water ready for you
Hmm.
or a band. They ain't gonna have none of that shit ready for you. You as a human being, an individual or as a group, y'all gotta have that shit ready just in case something like this happens. Because guess what? This pandemic could have been way worse. You dig what I'm saying? It definitely could have. And so like just in general, like yeah, we
I
gotta
mean, it's
stop
like
the
it's like when you were
pandemic.
it's like when you
But
was in school, right? And we carried like notebooks and we had to write every fucking material there was in each class. You had to write everything.
Yeah.
Now we're not writing no more. So like if we're if you take a glimpse into the future and things continue to be the way they are, like we might not even know how to write.
No, you are correct. You're correct, and that's like me personally. Like my daughters, I make sure to have sessions with them to write in cursive. When I was a kid, when I was in school, we wrote regular, but we also knew how to write in cursive as well. And I think that's a good thing to know. Period. And like it seems like today, kids in school actually don't write cursive. Um, certain things they just don't do. It's just so dependent. Oh, I'm gonna just save the PDF, put it here, and put it here, and then I just,
Oh,
I'll
let me
mix
say
it
my
up.
signature. Let me say my signature on my computer so that anybody that knows can come and sign my shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's
They
that's
can
Right?
just
part
they
of
can
the
type your name in and put it in signature mode, and there you go. Because you can hack computers. You can hack anybody's computer. So you
Yeah,
know.
facts.
that
Facts.
keeps leading to the entire cycle of it all. Like following the pandemic and following all of these things, there's the good and the bad of that. The good of information, but then also the bad of the unhealthy way you got to do it, or how obsessive you become because of the compulsiveness or the compulsive nature of the entire thing. I feel like that's something that people still have a problem balancing out, even right now, because this thing was so sudden. But while we were talking about all of it, technology has been doing what we keep speaking about. If we put it into a perspective, comfort. It's been developing more and more ways to make things convenient for us as people, and convenience has been taking the place of the effort to
Of
go and
everything.
learn things that took longer times to do. Like if the grid went out, like you said earlier, the military taught me how to read a map, so I'm immediately gonna jump to my bag on that one, and I got us. Like I'm gonna work on that navigation joint, and if we gotta move and go from like this city to the next one so we can get supplies, D.O, we going finagle, bro. We gonna do what we gotta do.
Yeah, we're gonna ride. We're gonna do
You know what
shit.
I'm saying? And so, like, separating a lot of those things technologically helps with that benefit when things do go out of whack. When things hit the fan, knowing yourself and knowing more about those things that you're able to do is how you're going to survive. It's a way to get started. Because if not, talking about the little time that I was talking about earlier, it's going to leave you hindered. And even though you're going to feel like you're a part of the thing, you're not even going to realize that if you don't know how to cook, you're not really gonna eat. You're just gonna know how to buy food made, and
Mhm.
that's only gonna go so far. I think that's what this time really like opened people up to realizing like there's way more, and it took people to make the tech.
I think that they're building some type of future. It's to build consumption because
Mhm.
as a business owner, I've come to realize like the more people consume an item or food or whatever, is the more money you're gonna make. So a lot of like Amazon, like they started up with books. Now like every other day you're getting a damn package for no reason. Something you don't need or your house,
Yeah, you
wasting
just
money.
got a website on Amazon.
So the more they make it easier for you, the more they consume the dollar bill. So like convenient, it's for everything that's good, there's a bad to it,
Hmm.
right?
That is true.
Like Amazon is this great juggernaut of company, but we don't talk about that uh Jeff Jeff Bezos, whatever his last name is,
Jeff
has
Bezos.
a that has almost $1 billion contract deal with the CIA with the U.S. government, no tax paid. Yet you got Elon Musk, that's paying over like 2 billion in taxes. So for every good thing that you think is good is a bad thing. Like, yeah, the fucking going back to the vaccine, it's good. We don't feel anything. The bad effect is that it's spreading, and we're not containing it. How are we containing it if we don't know we have it? If we're walking, down the street, like nothing's happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. Two things: tax loopholes are awesome. So I'm not even. I can't even get mad at these billionaires because they know they shit.
No,
Yeah, I
I'm not
mean,
mad at them either.
like,
Uh,
no. I'm not saying you mad. I'm just speaking in general. I'm like, yo, they're awesome because that's why I can't even get mad at Donald Trump. They're gonna say him not paying certain amount of tax. Yo, it's tax loopholes. It's legal, and if you know, you know. Now the other thing, the funny thing is like with Amazon and like you said, the pros and the cons. It's like with light comes darkness, with darkness comes light. Also, this other concept applies to that. You said they make it convenient for us. So the same concept, if you think about, how they say, what is it? Work smarter, not harder.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, you know what? Instead of me walking to the bookstore and looking for this book, you know what? Amazon, I know you got the book. No, it's smarter for me just to order it instead of walking down the street to go to this bookstore and getting a nice view outside and whatever, interacting with people, and just have the book delivered to me and just be like, all right, cool. Yeah, I
no,
mean,
yeah,
so so they're capitalizing on that
yeah.
concept in
It's
the
not a bad idea.
average person's mind.
It's
Here's
not
what
a bad idea. But for
Yeah.
everything good, there's a bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we
We,
gotta get people more on. We gotta get
you
them
know,
knowing that.
Mm-hmm.
people. We are one thing we don't understand about ourselves as people, as humans, is that we're highly addictive to shit. Right? We
Mm.
become addicts to shit. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're not an alcoholic or drug user, yeah, but you're probably addicted to something else. You're probably a sex addict, right? Or I don't know, sniffing markers. You get what I'm saying?
And that's the thing, right? You guys mentioned the good and the bad. It's not just enough anymore to know that convenience is the obvious choice, but it's also now important to know that technology helps do something old-fashioned, quote unquote, way more effectively. However, it's even smarter to know to use technology, but to know to learn the mundane way as well. So learn both. And a lot of people these days, their mental thinking or their capacity pushes them to only think as far as the technology helps with the advancement of a situation. It's like if you don't have to walk somewhere and you can ride your way there, why not do that? But why just do that and leave it to the comfort? Why not do that, but also figure out how else to make that an even better capacity or something to like help you just grow more inside. So like getting people on that train of thought where it's not ending at the convenience, but also adding the convenience and adding the reason behind it just in case things hit the fan. Because this past year, yo, that's the majority of what I've taken away is there's so much more value in the Flintstones age than we really thought prior.
I think we need to find a balance in something. We need
Right.
we we need to find a balance in everything we do. You know, our mental stage as people. in 2021, and we're nobody 100%. You know, we could blame it on you know, the less fortunes that we've gone through with our family, or you know, the sins of the father that always passed down to our, you know, the son. And reality is that it's these times are difficult. You know, we set high values and things that really have no meaning, right? Like a job that, yeah, pays you a good check, but you know it's preventing you from doing everything that you want to do. You know, and the only thing you see good out of it, yeah, the only thing good you see out of it is the check. But what's good having that damn check if you're not able to enjoy it?
That's
How many times we've been stuck on, you know, we get that paycheck and it's gone just on bills. You know, we oh, I want a new phone. Why? You don't use it. Oh, I want cable. Why? You don't sit there and watch it. Oh, why? I want new clothes. Why? You're not going out. The most you do is from home to, excuse me, from home to work, from work to home, home from work. You have no life.
What is an interpretation of 100%? There, just like there's no manual for life, there isn't a one size fit all for that title, right?
true.
That becomes up for interpretation, up for debate, when every individual that can decode the question for themselves can put themselves in the shoes of that question.
Yeah, and then you
Well
know,
said, I get that.
there's a thousand. I'm honestly, I think I'm just gonna drop the label of entrepreneur. For real with you, because there's an entrepreneur. What I've seen in an entrepreneur is a broke motherfucker trying to hustle. Has 20,
Every
20,
day.
20 24, 25 business hustle. You in reality is you want to make money, you want to be successful, you have to take one niche. You know, because being an entrepreneur, you're trying to make 20 million things happen. And reality is, in order for you to be successful in anything, you got to start with one.
Mhm.
You know, like I do real estate, I fucking do podcasting, I have my own t-shirt printing business. I fucking hustle the Uber sometimes and shit like that. Like none of my business are growing because I'm like a little kid with ADD. I'm pointing everywhere. I'm pointing anywhere. And we need one thing that we can put our focus in and succeed at that. And you get to a point that's making money on its own, then we can start something new.
Mhm.
But with all these fucking niches, it's it's becoming uncanny. It's shit. My fucking mentally I'm exhausted every day trying to find a new way to make money, to try to find something that works. In reality, everything I'm trying to do does work, but it needs its own attention. It needs its own focus. You need it to give it its own time to grow.
And with that thought process and observation, wouldn't y'all say that that essentially is how we ought to treat this pandemic and how we educate ourselves on it? Not just the pandemic, but how it's affected people, the vaccinations, all of those things that we made surprisingly a political debate about. Because really putting all that stuff aside, it's an unhealthy way of life how we are at this particular point. And I can't say that and say I'm saying it from thin air. I'm literally saying it from how we're describing what today's day and age is like for us versus what it used to be. But that day and age is come and gone. just like this one will be here now and it'll come and go as well into a future that we'll be discussing further, where success is the main point and topic. But to get there, it's imperative that we have these discussions now. It's okay to be a person that isn't gonna follow the full on rules and regulations of society, whether that's for your success or for your health or for any number of things that we end up doing or pursuing. I agree that definitely staying to one lane for a period of time is probably the most effective way of doing things. And I have to say that from a point of experience myself as well. It's important because if you have that much energy to juggle 10,000 things, pointing it into one direction would probably 10 times the output on the one thing than focusing one time over on 10 different things, if you guys get what I mean. So that same philosophy, I think, needs to be applied with how we go about the everyday of this whole thing, because it's just not helping how we manage it. Things are just getting way more stressful.
Yeah. And one thing, like one thing they say, they try to make it simple. Like technology, for example, right? The more they say it's simple, the more difficult it gets.
Ain't that ironic?
Right? You know, the same thing with pandemic. Like I kept it simple. I turned off the noise. You know, I'm very much like you, Elvis. Like I'm a hermit. You know, I don't listen to news. I don't read articles. You know, besides Nick, we talk and you time to time, or me going to jiu-jitsu class. I I pick and choose what I want to hear. There's a lot of noise. There's definitely a lot of noise, especially with this pandemic. You know, we 2020. When did Biden come in office? 2021.
Was it just this year?
This year he came.
I don't know.
Last year? Nah.
I think he got a year under his belt. I believe he has a year
Yo, it was this year.
this year, right?
Yo.
Because look, you think about it, and the whole time, you know, that whole debate with him and Trump, I was just like, damn, when did he become president? Because that debate was like forever.
Yeah.
And like it was nonstop. So I was just like, man, I really don't know. I was like, wait, I think he got a year.
Like
because after the debate,
2021,
he disappeared. Like you
Like,
don't hear about it no more.
yeah, we're a couple of days from going to 2022. 2021 has been a year of most defined in the sense of overcoming obstacles.
Yes.
From a fucking crazy, unexperienced president, right? To somebody that we voted for who's you know time is catching up to him. Time is definitely catching up to him.
Well, real quick, not to cut you off. You said unexperienced president.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any person, I believe any person that became president, they don't have the experience until they're actually president.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I just wanted to say. I was like, wait, unexperienced. I was like, wait, none of them have experience unless
Well,
they read
let
first.
me emphasize what I tried. let me emphasize what I was trying to say when I meant unexperienced.
Okay.
Unexperienced in a sense like if you're unexperienced for a job, but you need the job, right? You're not gonna show you're unexperienced, right? You're not gonna show that you don't know. All you know is you need this fucking job. So you're gonna act like you know,
Mm-hmm.
right? Every every president before was a president that was unexperienced, but they acted like they know.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, he's an unexperienced president who acted like an unexperienced president. So I'm just leave it at that.
Mm.
Right? You never want to show your weakness. He definitely
No,
showed his,
that's,
you know.
that's true. Trump was well, you know, I have to say, I'm not even mad Trump won or Trump lost. I mean, me personally, the way I look at it as he 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 was bold as fuck and he stuck true to his guns regardless of what.
Which something I do respect. I actually,
I respect. Look, he
I,
was a dick, but I respect that. I respect that because he stood true to him. He
mhm,
didn't put no fake
yeah.
shit, this, that, and the third. This is who he really was.
He didn't give you. He didn't try to give you a pill to swallow. Is what it
Exactly.
was. Is what it was. I respect that, and you know,
I'm not gonna lie.
understanding that to be a president, you have people behind you, and that people also have to support you, which he didn't. But one thing he was missing is that he had influence, and rather than show much, you know, when you're a person of influence, you have a responsibility. Eyes are watching.
Mm-hmm.
The way you walk is the way these people that follow you are going to walk. Meaning, the way you act is the way these people are going to act. It's up to you. You know, they could talk shit about Obama, but Obama was like Denzel Washington, kept it smooth. He delivered his speech like he had to deliver it. You know, that's when he was those 8 years. Believe it or not, it felt some type of peace,
No, I agree with you. I agree.
right?
I agree. Obama had class. He I love the way he articulated his words to where it's though whether you was with him or against him, you understood what he was talking about.
Mm,
And I give Obama a lot of credit for that. I tell people all the time. Another guy named Beto O'Rourke, guy down in Texas. The way he talks and how he articulates, he reminds me of Obama. Like to get his point across and not offend you, but not offend this person too, to the point where it's like, hey, I get what you're saying, but I can understand. You know, but also, you know, I'm gonna keep it 100. I learned a lot from Trump. He showed me that you definitely can get shit done with or without these damn votes and arguments and this, that, and a third.
mhm.
Rather you a Democrat or a Republican, you can get shit done. He did that. I do give him credit for.
I'm not even gonna lie with y'all, bro. Trump for me, it's got nothing to do with being a Democrat or a Republican. I'm neither one of those things. I barely believe in the system as it is for a multitude of reasons that I could argue about for days. But for this guy, it was like that one needle in the haystack that honestly didn't belong at all to begin with. To me personally,
Mm-hmm.
with the way that this country has floated itself for years, with the way that our movies and the culture and the world and everything that we can sit here for hours and name on that makes this place seem like such a great place, he was not the best of us. I am not. I don't even. I genuinely don't want to even sit and have like a discussion as to why. There's nothing I see myself in with that man. Never has been. Like before he was ever even president, I had no care in the world for his life and being. None. I knew he existed, and in Hollywood, and you know, The Apprentice and the Home Alone boy, and
I keep forgetting he was in there.
outside of that, bro, I lie to you not, on my son's life, that man held no relevance, none, and it made no sense. But it did at the same time that he rose the way he did because the way he did it was obviously the way this place is set up for the facade to happen for as long as it needs to until it becomes real. Most of Hollywood today still isn't even real. But because we have so much backing it, fake backing it, it has the I love Obama for the representation and inspiration he provides. That's why to me he holds a place. Not because he's the first black president that holds respect though, but because there is a level of room in there to mirror ourselves behind. It doesn't matter what the accomplishments hold, although there are many there, but because it was a boring thing, it's not worth giving research behind. Whereas Trump is a whole circus. For 4 years, this thing was a circus, just like his TV shows and whatnot. So, like, at the end of the day with it, I was more surprised that it went on as long as it did.
Yeah, I tell people Trump was a necessary disruption. And I say that because, like, yeah, I get it. His whole camp, his whole administration, it was, it was a bunch of bullshit.
He definitely put on the pedestal. He definitely put Obama up there now, like the greatest president of all. Because, like, you would think the predecessor of the United States after he steps down will be great. We'll do a great job.
Nah.
Oh man, this like, one cut the cake, boy.
Yeah, but he showed you something. Like, see, I'm the type person people they get mad at me because I'm like, I'm always willing to look at both sides, even a third side, and I take pieces from each, and start analyzing. I really sit down and pay attention to what this person did here, how they act on this, that, and third, and everything. Like, and some people get mad at me because I could point some things that Trump, where I was like, yeah, that's cool. For example, now I wasn't a Trump supporter. I damn sure wasn't a Hillary supporter neither. Like, I was strictly Bernie Sanders, to be honest. But like, one thing I like that Trump did, and this is like, I think probably only 2 or 3 things I could say he did good, is when he came at the auto industry. And he came specifically at GM, Chrysler, because when we bailed them out and everything, and this, that, and the third. And he told them straight up, he said it in a public statement. He said, well, we bailed your asses out a while back. Give us the money back if you're going to keep shipping all these jobs overseas. And that I respected that right there, because I'm like, well, damn, I said, yeah, they get, like, look, I love Dodge, but my truck is made in Mexico. It's not an American truck. Made in Mexico and it's shipped over here.
Did it happen though? Did we get money then?
Man, look, I don't know if we got our money back or not, but that was a statement because he was. See, but look, here's the thing. I like the fact that he was willing to say that publicly and tell them, like, yo, if that's the case, if y'all gonna keep doing that, give us the money back. And like, none of the top CEOs or anything really had say, didn't want to say anything back. They were silent. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, I said, damn, I found something I like he did. I said, I don't. I said, I don't think it brought about him. But I said, I like the fact that he told them what it was publicly. You dig what I'm saying? Not behind closed door or whatever. He said, well, look, if that was the case, get the money back. I'm like, yo, okay. I said, okay. So he finally did something that sounds somewhat okay, whatever the case may be. I'm like,
I mean,
okay.
valuable. Those are valid. I like the parts when he had valid points.
Mm-hmm.
Other shit was just unnecessary noise.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, but he was very entertaining for me. I'm not gonna lie. It made my day. It was like watching comedy. It was like I was watching SNL, and I would literally turn on the TV just to watch a press conference of Trump because I'm like, yo, we had really big shoes, big thoughts, big things happening. Just wait and see big things. And I'll be cracking it up. I'm like, yo, man, this man just said big things. I said, that's the most grammatical error sentence ever. And I was like, so he was very entertaining to me, though. He really was. I'm not gonna lie.
Off of like some of that logic, I sit and think about, and I'm not trying to go into too hard of an extreme, but it's like we're thinking about things like this in terms of, so that's to say that Ted Bundy was cool because he was publicly a serial killer. So it's totally cool. And he had a backing and he had a fan base, but like ultimately we know that it was wrong. And we have a multitude of other like Hitler and any other like Pablo Escobar,
Bill Cosby,
Bill
Michael
Cosby,
Jackson.
Michael Jackson, O.J. Simpson.
We got a whole list. We got a whole
Yeah.
Are
But
we?
that's a popularity contest. That's what we live in.
Yeah.
Are we really giving this thing the two-sided equality that we're claiming? Because at the end of it, we do that, but we do that leaning quietly to one side more than the other at the end of the day. Because if we're gonna be honest with him, like we were with everybody in the past, we were way more cutthroat about people in the past than we are about this man. And I've never seen anybody be defended the way he has in my entire life. No person that's been in the public eye like him has been defended like he has by people who, like you, are way more open to all sides of a fence, as opposed to him, who's only open to one, the Republican side that he chose. So I look at it like, shouldn't our president be someone like us, more open to all sides of things rather than just his or her one side? Because that's what gets people troped up. We follow this person off of the thing we like about them, but then we claim to be all well-rounded about life, but then say the president is our representation, but then turn around and get the confusion because we realize it wasn't what we thought. It was just the romance. So it's like,
yeah, it's the temporary romance.
the guy isn't well-rounded at all. I'm not talking about his intelligence. I'm talking about his acceptance. Because if you look at his track record, for real, bro, there's nothing there claiming or holding water behind anything people say about him. He's not been of the people. He's never been charitable. There's no lives that I know to this day that
I mentioned this in
life is better.
I mentioned this in my last podcast with T. Marie. He's unrelatable. He's unrelatable. You go to Obama. The Obama, shows his history. He had to bust his ass to get where he's at. Trump is unrelatable.
And
The people, only thing he knows that people like him. He doesn't know why. He only knows that people like him. He likes that. Who doesn't like the feeling of people like him? He's unrelatable. He grew up with money, and with the money he got, he made more money. He's not a regular Joe. So when people like he goes, like the KKK goes and says they like him, he doesn't know what the fuck they're about. He doesn't care what they're about. All he cares is that they like him. And when you like somebody and you feel that sense of welcomeness, I'm not gonna say nothing about you. He likes me. Look through his media. Look through the interviews.
All the people like me. All the people like me.
That's all he cares about. That's all he cares about.
That's what 2021 felt like to me as well. On another note of it, like this is
Yeah.
the end of the year, and thinking back on it all, it's been a lot more about really just emphasizing and being more confident about your identity. We
Hmm.
spent way too much time trying to follow things, and the last 2 years has really slowed all that down. Like we've been talking about. It's to look back on the year, I spent it struggling, and I can relate it to so much of my past, but not at the same time, because I still also did things to save myself. I did things to help my health, help my success. I stood behind values that I had to learn at one point in therapy. You know, a lot of times people for years will learn things just to relearn them because they don't have the capacity, the self love to be able to exercise it and stick to it. Sometimes we can do things, but like it's hard to stay away from an ex or look for another job because the last one was hard, even though the money helped, or talk to your parent about some negative thing that you went through in the past, and it's hard because family values, and we're all, you know, West Indian out here. The dynamics are not easy in households like this. You know what I'm saying? It's not the easiest thing, and so this year has been more about just doubling down on what we keep learning the older we're getting. I feel for me, I know that he wasn't good for us. I know that our country fell apart a little bit. I know that the pandemic is trash and nobody wants to take the vaccine. Boo! But at the same time, you're gonna still love people. We gotta still do the work to get where we want to go. And being negative every single day about life is only gonna stay there. It's not gonna get nowhere else. So like still remembering all of these things, ending 2021, it's just going to keep being about the practice. Keep on practicing to continue the betterment that we claim, so that we don't just keep falling back.
I feel that 100%. I My 2021 wrap up is um it's something that I've always said, and you want to get real, right? Because a lot of people like to throw on real, but they're not real. The realest thing is time. You know, with time, it will never lie to you, and time will tell you the truth. You just got to give it time. It's not what you want, right? And like, like for me, this 2021 has helped me realize I've been on this journey of like brushing shit off and just moving forward. That it's starting to catch up with me, right? And I'm come to realize like, you know, I have so much resentment and so much shit, and now I'm just trying to learn how to let go.
Mhm.
Because in one point in time, we were saying hello, we were saying hi, we were saying hey, and without us knowing, each second we're close and closer to saying goodbye without knowing. And
Yep.
for as long as we hold, you know, any resentment, like my son going crazy right now, right? Hold resentment and shit. You know, when you hold resentment, that shit takes a whole lifetime with you. And if you don't let it go soon, it's gonna consume your whole life. So that's what my 2021 has been like. And I'm just trying to, get my, realize what is in front of me, realize what I can and cannot do, realize what I need to work on, uh, so that I can, have a strong right foot in 2022.
Bless us.
Hmm.
What about you, Nick?
That's that's nice. Both I like what both y'all said. It's very touching. I enjoyed it. Um, my 2021 been very eventful. Um, First of all, I'll say I'm lucky to be here. I did get shot this summer, so I'm very lucky and blessed to be here. Uh,
Praise be, King.
Thank you. But that also was a blessing to me too. At the same time, it made me realize that, damn, like you said, Theo, you know, time doesn't lie to you. Time ain't your friend neither. You dig what I'm saying? Time is never your friend. You know, you sit there and think this, that, and the third. So, like, that experience alone happened to me, and literally put the battery in my back. Like, Theo, I met you probably like a week or two after I got shot. Basically, that's when we was introduced.
Yes,
And,
yes, yes.
you know, it's been a blessing that I met you because, you know, you're a great guy overall. Cool guy, 100. So, but it also made me go hard every day and the things that I want to accomplish. And I look at how today's world is. Like, yeah, we spoke of some crazy stuff earlier and everything, and how we see it, and how everything is just presented to us. So, like for me, overall, I do plan 2022 to be eventful as well, but hopefully eventful in a good way where I'm not having like a near death experience or anything like that. And you know, I'm a single father raising two daughters, so you know, like, so I'm always going to be grinding 24/7, no matter what it is I'm doing. I'm always grinding nonstop. But another thing, 2021 and the past couple of years, this whole pandemic in general, it it showed me these things as well. What this pandemic showed me was you can't put your faith all in the government. You can't put your faith in higher ups and people that have certain power and this and that, because I the way I seen it, it's the fact that you have to argue about helping the people that actually make this country go round, and everything is beyond me. And and honestly, that made me realize this. True, I'm gonna say this live. Any chance I get to fuck the government over and I can get away with it, I'm gonna fuck them over. All right, real shit. Okay, we'll keep it a bean. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't give a fuck. CIA, FBI, y'all see this shit?
What's good?
Over because
Which
y'all always
side?
fuck
Which
us over.
side?
So any opportunity I get to do it and I can get away with it, I'm gonna fuck you over. Like period.
Yo,
Like real shit,
Oh
because
shit!
like us as a people in general, I don't care what race you was or anything. The fact that we couldn't get any fucking help, y'all had to argue and wait 6 weeks to this, that, and third to figure out if y'all gonna help the working fucking people with money that they're funding this piece of shit government we got. Like fuck all that shit. So yeah, I really had an issue with that. And that woke me up and realized though, it's like you gotta secure your bag. And it's like Ross said, at the end of the day, every day you gotta do better than the next. You gotta keep going for this. You gotta keep going for that. Don't stop. Don't stop going, because at the end of the day, yeah, it could all go away. But truth be told, you want to leave a print on this world with the people you know, the people you love, the people you care about. You wanna leave something for them. You know what I'm saying? And this pandemic made me realize that, you know, I need to put the pedal to the metal. My foot, I was only, you know, just tapping the gas pedal. That was it. Like I wasn't going full force. And like, you know, this pandemic, that's what it showed me a lot, because life is too short. We got too much shit to work. We got kids. We got this. We got that. You know, and sometimes we take time for granted, and that's one thing I can admit I took time for granted. You know what I mean? And for me, I learned this year, and I'm 32. I learned this year that time is really not your friend as you think.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And that's
You know
crazy.
what? I feel that I feel that 100%, brother. But I'm gonna keep it G. Uh, I'd rather deal with an enemy that I know for sure what he's gonna do to me, and it's
Mm-hmm.
predictable, than deal with somebody that I call a friend and I don't know his intention
Mm-hmm. I
because
agree.
times have changed. People change, you
Yeah.
know,
Time is
and
always going to be the same. It's always going to go forward. You never, to this day, we never seen time go backwards.
You got two daughters, you said?
Two daughters, yes.
Dio, you got how many kids?
I got one
Boy, girl?
boy.
I got a son. So we got two daughters and two boys in the mix right now between the three of us kings, right? Brothers, it is within our complete responsibility to make sure that those two queens grow up to know exactly the type of men or women, I don't know,
You
that
never
they
know
need
what
to
these
bring that they need to
Yeah,
bring into their lives. Do you want them to grow up choosing men like yourself or better? You see what I'm saying? And
days.
for our sons, do we want them to grow up to be like us or better? And so those ideals have to continue, not even start anymore. They have to continue fueling us in an innovative way as parents because these kids are going to keep growing into a more and more complex world. Like, look at how complex this joint is right now. And we in our 30s, y'all.
yeah,
We ain't even touched 40 yet.
It's
yeah.
only going to get more complex from here. You know what I'm saying? So setting our kids up for success is great, but we got to set them up where it matters the most, which is at home within
You
self.
gotta. It's called investing in our children's. You know,
Boom.
one thing that I'm working on, and you know, I get aggravated and bothered when my wife brings it up. It's trying to instill emotion, right? Because you know, if you know me, I'm a tough motherfucker. There's only do's and don'ts, right? And I sometimes lack empathy, right? Like my example, like my son is autistic, right? And it's difficult. Like I don't want to, but I have to be tough on my son because there's nobody helping us. There's nobody. It's just me. You know, I was at one point the breadwinner, and I did a shift because I wanted my wife to get an opportunity for her career, and I wanted to be home and I wanted to be dad. But there's no support for me. I'm physically and mentally exhausted, and every day I try a little bit, because I'm his foundation. There's nobody helping the government. Like I'm with Nick. Any chance I'm gonna get to fuck him and know that I'm not gonna get fucked back, 'cause that's how good I fucked him. I'm gonna take it. It's nothing personal. I'm gonna look at them like they look at me. Shut up business.
I'd be like,
That
it's
that's
legal.
yeah. It's the truth. Like I in the past 6 months, I've had like 4 or 5 therapists start coming and out of nowhere stop showing up for my son. I tried to get a certification so I could help my son. They said they couldn't do it. You know, so like it's an investment. It's an you know, and in order for me to invest in him, I gotta invest in myself. I gotta invest in myself because
That's key.
I'm not what I want. I'm not where I want to be. I all I know is where I want to go. I'm not who I'm yet to be, but I know who I want to become. And it's shit's difficult. And this pandemic shit has made it even more. Where if you're broke, you're not winning. They're just setting the tone. Everybody that has money has taken their money invested in shit we can't buy. To be a business owner, you gotta have fucking money to make money.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yet,
I
yet
yeah
those are all things you can't attain with money.
yeah.
Dreaming, inspiring, and obtaining are things you cannot
Mm,
obtain with money.
no, I'm into that. No, so I do what I could do best and help build an incredible human being with incredible positive character.
And that's
And
the
it's
real
gonna be
value.
hard. And it's gonna be hard. But you know what? He'll be like he's autistic, but autistic never stopped him from accomplishing shit. Like people say, I got allergies, I got chronic allergies. They feel like they're stopped and they can't do anything. They feel useless, and that's what society in America has built kids nowadays to be useless.
You hear the "I'm sorry" too much.
I don't want to be sorry. I don't want to hear that
Oh,
shit.
I'm sorry. We
But
good.
then I'm crucified because I'm being too sensitive. Let me
No,
tell you something. I'm gonna give you two advice that nobody ever got given me that I had to learn. I had to learn for myself. One is minding your damn business. That's the best advice you can give yourself. Mind your damn business. Right? The second one is to be useful. Once you're useful to people and you know your potential, nobody can ever stop you. Nobody can ever degrade you. Nobody ever can put you down. Nobody ever can tell you you can't because you can't. But in order to learn that, to go through that process, you have to be useful.
you have
So
to
the
put
next,
it into your business.
yep. No, and I'm talking about being a person, not fuck the business, being a person.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You as a person, and I don't mean money. I
yeah,
mean
yeah.
a
I get
person, your life.
it.
That matters because, like you're saying, when you mind your business and you make that what you focus on, your
Mhm.
usefulness becomes clear. When you mind
Yeah.
your business, your usefulness, as in the use that you have fulfillment in, fullness for, makes more sense.
2022, like that's one. I'm setting my priorities. Like by this, like on January 4th, it's 1 year of DioTalk. So I want to thank you guys for joining me because by the time this release, uh, we and I when I say we, I mean me and all my guests that have joined me throughout this whole year. We made it to 1 year, so thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you for
Uh,
having us.
and setting our priorities, narrowing down our list, and focusing on one thing so we can move forward.
Agreed.
Yo, when you're mentioning that right now, I'm dealing with. I'm gonna be a little transparent, right? So I was able to get past a lot of challenges, relationships wise, in my 20s, and we just got done talking about having this bigger understanding of self this year and putting that into practice. 2022, I want to be able to continue that, not just because I say it out loud or because it's good, but also because, like, now that I recognize that out loud, things from the past are starting to come back up. And I don't know how many people go through that day to day where they feel so good and they're starting to get through things and they're starting to move the ball forward for themselves just to find a familiar thing coming in to supposedly try to, like, stop you in place. I've had a few people come back to, like, not necessarily try to, like, butter me up and win me back, but I know that overall, because of the history we've had, it's not going to do any good to get involved with things like that nature wise, because it's like, I'm saying I'm going to continue practicing what I know for myself now, but I only know it because I was going through such terrible things in the past that I survived. And if I become human again, or a little more human, excuse me, and choose to go backwards that way, I think, to like entertain people from the past just because they say that they grew or that they're better, I might be setting myself up for failure, and I don't want to do that. Like, I feel like sharing that right now with y'all after what you said, Dio. It's like, it's gonna help me just stay focused and reinforce. It's like sharing and being checked amongst kings, so that it's not something I just forget. Because if you hold yourself accountable, you're gonna give yourself excuses. But if iron continues to sharpen iron around other kings, you have a way better chance at continuing your practice and continuing forward and not faltering back. And that's
I
what
feel
I've done.
that. I feel
Well
that.
said. I like that. Yeah, I like.
I feel that. Like I one thing I've learned is, and it's not good to negotiate with yourself. Don't do that.
Oh man, I done did that a million times.
Yo, I'm gonna lose every time.
Second, you can't even ask my wife. If I dwell over the past, is because there's wounds there that are not healed or closed. So I often move forward in life, and when I get a glimpse of the past, I just act like I don't look at it. I don't see it. It's not worth it. And there's some wounds that I have been able to be lucky enough to heal from. And when I get another glimpse of the past, I keep moving forward. You know, I've never been an ex person. I'm not. There's a lot of people out here that do that. I don't know have the understanding with that. I don't know how. I don't know what that is. Especially if we don't have kids or anything partaking. There's no need. You know, maybe if it's meant to be, God will put it in a way, in a form that is gonna be meant to be, and you're gonna realize that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Uh, I don't. I don't have time looking to look to the past. It's like my past is only hardships and heartbreak and love
Disappointment.
to me sometimes is letting go rather than keeping and savoring and enjoying it. So, from my perspective, if you have the opportunity and if you encounter growth as a man, as a person, as a human being, as whatever the fuck you want it to be, growth and progress, just keep fucking progressing. Say hi, what's up, how you doing, and keep fucking moving.
Y'all heard that? Keep it moving, boy. I gotta keep remembering that, man, because people be coming out of the woodwork.
They do.
Nah,
Oh, I see you doing.
That's the problem right there. That's the problem. When you hear somebody say, "I see you doing good," you say, "So what are you
that's the
talking
type of
about? I'm
conversation,
not.
sure.
Yeah, have I never been doing good? Well, at what point did I start doing good? Let me know. Let me know. What about you, Nick?
Like, for me with exes, I mean,
They all live in Texas.
I only would give one ex another chance, to be honest with you. And the only reason I would is strictly because I think me and her it was bad time.
Hmm.
Like there was nothing like literally bad between us, but just certain things it just couldn't mesh well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because, you know, her lifestyle, how she was as a person versus how I am as a person, things like that. Like me and her, we could literally talk about anything. Like, and when I say anything, I mean the hardest shit you can think that's hard to talk about in a relationship, we was able to talk about. No, but at the same time, then a part of me realized that, she didn't truly know herself.
Mm.
And that's where we had our rocks at. You know what I mean? So it didn't end badly, but it ended where as though like, all right, yeah, we on that level, but part of you is not on that level. And it's because of how certain things with you are versus me and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So only one of my exes, she's the only one I'm willing to give a chance because she's the only other female I ever trusted around my daughters, period. I don't trust females around my daughters. And like, if you ever truly get to know me, you'll see like, I'm not one of them guys that just throws a chick in front of their kids and shit. Like, yeah, it's your stepmom bullshit. No, none of that shit. So just that, but all the rest of them, nah, they can keep it moving. They prove their point. You just learn from it and you grow from it. Like, one thing I learned about myself is that I'm not scared to take chances. I used to be, but now I'm more so not on some YOLO type shit. But the thing is, I'm willing to stick my hand out or stick my foot out to see what's it about. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's my stance with exes. I'll give one more try if she ever wanted to. But otherwise than that, nah, I just keep moving forward, especially if one come back. Oh, I see you doing great now. Like you said, D, like, what? Fuck me, I'm doing great now. I've been doing great. What you talking about? You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, sometimes in life in general, is take more chances because you don't know what's just going to get. And truth be told, it doesn't hurt to fail. Because when comes failure, comes success. You learn from it, you grow from it. So you can't. I told Dio before earlier in the year. I said, man, look, I'm scared of trying things sometimes. It's this term. It's called FUD. It's called fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And a lot of people have that, and they don't even realize it because they just like, well, damn, what if it don't work? Damn, what if this don't work? You know what I mean? It's just constant. But the thing is, what's the point of trying if you're not willing to fail? You know what I'm saying?
Good
The
point.
best champions that were made all have failed at one point or another, which made them greater.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And sometimes things, you look at things and you have to come to terms they're not going to work right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's from business to love to anything. You know, you can want something now, but right now it's not time. Everything is timing too.
These are the mental levels that we're not even striving towards no more, guys. These are the mental levels that we're living through and feeling out of. We're successfully coming out of challenging situations that we didn't ask for. But at the same time, after they're done now, the way that y'all are given this game, the fleshed out version comes out in a way more mature manner. And so iron sharpening iron the way we're doing, this discussion amongst us is gonna help that next dude.
I mean, but it's all listen, we give it because fucking me and Nick, we talk a lot sometimes, and we sit there sometimes just talking about how we give advice to people, right? And it's all about whoever wants to fucking listen, honestly.
You'd be surprised because, like you said, it's a timing thing. Sometimes it's not for them now, but it'll be for them later.
And it's there. it's up to the person who want to listen or not. Honestly, you know.
2022, I'm trying to go to it with a better
Excuse me.
mental health
Yeah,
mindset.
yeah. Fucking, it's to get, where we are right now. There's a lot of shit we had to overcome.
Big facts.
A lot of shit
Um,
we had to overcome, and it's and it's
well,
it's it's yeah, it's growth. It's two things, right? When you're young, you make a lot of mistakes, and you keep making them. But when you get older, there's no mistakes. There's only lessons. So that shows some type of maturity because if you are older and you keep making these damn mistakes, you haven't learned the lesson. So as you get like me, everything I get older and I stumble upon something, for me now is a lesson I have to learn because I don't want to fucking keep making these mistakes. Too old for that shit. I'm getting tired. I don't like to go to sleep late. I want to wake up early. I don't want to have these long discussion arguments with my wife sometimes. I don't want to have these meaningless small talks with people. So I got to learn my lesson. I got to be accountable. I got to put myself in my place because when you make mistakes, people are putting you in your place. So I'll
mhm.
be I'll be damned if somebody fucking talks down to me.
Mm.
I'll be damned if somebody's trying to belittle my ass, being a grown ass old man.
That's a perspective for your ass.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Now here's something funny, you guys. And see, my daughter, she's 12, right, and my youngest is 9.
Mm.
And kids got cell phones now and everything, this, that, and the third. And they got the classmates, and she's like, "Dad, I have a guy friend. Is that okay?" And she's 12, and I'm like, "What?" And like, so so I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
Huh?
And she got
Nick
me
cleaning
cracking up.
his guts like what?
She's
Hold on, I
like,
gotta clean this
she's
real quick.
like, she's like, we've been friends since the third. Exactly, that's what I was doing in my mind. That's exactly what I was doing. But she's like, we've been friends since the third grade, and I remember the kid, the little. I said, okay. I said, I got a couple ways to handle this. I'm like, okay. I said, has anything weird been said? She's like, no, we just talk about school, stuff like that, whatever the case may be. I said, oh, okay, cool.
She answered quick. She knew what you was talking about. Oh God.
Right. So, because she was scared to even tell me. And she said, Dad, I thought you was gonna snap and have a vein pop out your neck and this, that, and third. And in my mind, I didn't want to tell her why I didn't snap. So, because normally, yeah, me personally, I wanted to snap like, yo, you ain't gonna be talking about and all the other bullshit. But then I really stepped back and thought about it. I said, if I'm actually like that, 9 times out of 10, she's going to rebel against and go against my wishes. So what I did, I sat there and I told her, I said, look, I'm okay with that. I said, long as nothing is being exchanged in a way where as though what shouldn't be said or done, whatever the case may be, and I'm fine with that. So I check my child's phone, whatever the case may be, and she's like, really? I said, yeah. I said, I want you to be able to come to me and talk to me whenever you want, whenever you got some doubt or whenever you got a question or something. I want you to come to me. I said, because I told her straight, I said, it's just us. It's just me, you, your sister, basically. Every fucking day. You know what I'm saying?
Every day.
So, and I told her, I told her that, and I shared that to say, that's how I know me personally, I matured more because like a part of me, like, cause I'm not gonna lie, with my little cousin was grown, she had, but man, I wanted to snap, like, yo, you not having no boyfriend and this, that, like, I wanted to snap so bad, but then, I really had to think about it, and I had to take myself out of the equation and just, look at it from a whole neutral perspective. And I'm like, okay, there has to be a better approach to this rather than being totally one-sided and making them feel some type of way. And so, I was happy that I was able to resolve it that way. And I wanted to share that with you guys. I mean, because I think it was dope that I handled it that way.
So
And my
you
daughter
look
gave
so
me a
proud.
hug and everything and said, thanks. She said, I'm
No,
glad a
you
baby
definitely.
didn't pop out your neck.
No, you
Yeah.
did good,
But
man.
see,
I'm
look,
proud
my
of you.
daughter know when I get mad because there's certain things I'm just like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? But
You
yeah,
gotta pick
I
and
think I
choose your
did okay
battles.
with that. I think
You
I did
gotta pick
okay
and
with
choose your battles. You did great, man.
it.
No,
Yeah, I
You
think I
did
it's,
did.
great.
it's opening up healthy communication.
You gotta pick and choose your battles.
You're showing her the type of dude she needs to stay around, the type of
hmm
people she needs to stay around. You're
Right.
critically, bro. You're not just going off your emotions with it, even though you could.
All right,
You're dead, but
real man
you
shit. That's a real man right there.
Yeah.
exactly.
And don't look good. And the crazy part, after she walked away and everything, I ain't gonna lie. I locked my door. I said, fuck. Ah.
Shit.
And all the other bullshit afterwards. But, it was after she left. I was just like, yeah, it's cool. I'm like, all right.
She gonna keep coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And that's another thing. A lot of women, like we've done a horrible job as represent ourselves as men, right? And that's another thing. We have to change in the way we act to certain things because they don't know they don't women don't know a lot about us besides the generic shit, right?
hmm
We also have to put change that narrative to be able to have a conversation,
Mm.
you know, especially when you're in a relationship. Um, that term of happy wife, happy life. Fuck that shit. I want to be happy,
Yeah.
you know.
That happy joint has everything to do with yourself.
Yeah,
It's a value thing, dog. It's really about knowing your own value, knowing your own worth. And we grow up without dads. I grew up without one. So that's just that's a
same
part of
here.
my story. What happened?
Same here.
Yeah, so that's a part of the story, and that's not just saying that having two parents is the key. Because I don't know if we've had that discussion, but I've had that discussion a few other times with people. Even people with two-parent households sometimes have messed up kids or have messed up dynamics. So
Yeah,
it's not always just dependent on the one thing that we might end up being missing from. A lot of oftentimes it's all of these layers of an entire onion that you're peeling back on. It's
yeah, yeah.
just at the end of it, you got to be willing enough to do it. You got to be willing to do that work. You got to be brave enough to want to, but you also got to be honest, man. I think this life is just continuing to show you're not gonna get away with everything, but you're not gonna pay for everything either. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna be you figuring out how you're gonna balance that, right? Isn't that what it ultimately ends up behind? Like gambling and everything else in general. It's like, or like good things, but how much of a good thing becomes a bad thing eventually. It's not just the action and reaction of everything no more. You're gonna be able to do or not do good and bad things in society, but if you decide to abuse it, that's probably where you're gonna deal with the consequences of stuff. If if you don't find that balance yourself.
And then the question holds: how do we know we're abusing it?
Right, right,
Because
right.
like I said it initially in the conversation when we first started the podcast, we are addicted people. Humans are
We,
addicted. You know,
Mhm.
just because you don't drink, like me, I don't drink, I don't use drugs. If I drink socially. Like I find myself like obsessive with shit, right? Like I can't, whatever. But we become addicted to shit.
yeah.
Every human has it. Every human has it. You know. Um, so the question is like,
What are you
when
gonna
do we
do?
realize that? Yeah. What are we gonna do? And when do we realize that? When it's too much is.
Because that's kind of what the system is. People that are doing the top of the top with everything. Because it's like, ask yourself, if we were the ones in the positions, how would we do it? Would we do it different? Would we be influenced by the money or by the power or by whatever this thing is? If we were in
Yeah.
these places and it was the
It,
opposite,
it it goes back to that uh the wheel thing. Whoever created the wheel. You cannot recreate the wheel. The wheel is the wheel. It's all about how do you create it your way? How do you put your song and I build it? You know?
hey,
That that's
exactly.
how that's how everything is. There's there's 20 fucking billion podcasts. Right? I did mine in a way that I don't want a niche. I just wanted to talk to people. That's why essentially it's called talk. And D.I.O is dream inspire obtain. Right? People who have dreams are inspiring to obtain their dream. And as they're doing it, they're inspiring other people. Some
Facts.
people have, in some episodes, it's not about fucking, talking to people. Now it's having a decent conversation like we're having, which is the reason of the podcast. Having a
Agreed.
conversation about different things. That's why I never wanted to put a niche in this shit. And that's something that has helped me.
Mm.
I created something that I don't have to define myself in one thing. I could do a lot of things within one thing, right?
Indeed.
Um,
That's a
And it's
jam.
non-scripted.
People
It's
will listen.
non-scripted. That's the best part. It's
you
all
know, I
organic.
didn't, yeah, and I didn't want to, some people have problems with me cursing. I don't give a fuck. I want it to be real. It needs to be raw. I need to be essential what radio used to be, spitting facts and telling you the truth. Not necessarily has to be clean. I'm not trying to tell you what you want to hear. I'm trying to tell you what you need to hear.
Damn.
Right.
And some people like it, some people don't. And the face is right here, blah blah blah. And that's you have to live. My motto is right. I think Nick kills me when I say this. If you come to this world and it was given to you like shit, right? And yeah, you could be better. You could keep on giving that shit, or you could say fuck it and leave it in a better way than it was given to you.
Boom. And that's the
You got a
best.
choice.
Nope. Changing into diamonds.
Yeah. Uh, but it's been 2 hours, brother. I want to thank you guys for joining me. I apologize. We had technical difficulties. I'm doing it, recording this off the phone. Uh, but we will do this again. Hopefully without this shit. When this episode's air is going to be 2022. I wish you the best. I wish you both to, and all my listeners and viewers to start the year with the right foot strong. Um, and let's fucking smash this year. Let's fucking do something.
Let's go.
Let's do our best to be better uh, than we were yesterday. And if we can't, that's fine because the first step is realizing what's wrong and what's happening and what we need to do. Um, it's been a year of fucking DioTalk. I'm fucking grateful. I'm happy. I'm happy because I was able to have conversations for the first time and multiple times, like you guys, and has helped me in a sense in my life to become a better person. So I want to thank all my guests. I want to thank you guys for joining me, and let's fucking rock.
Humbled to be here, King. Thank you.
Before we go, I'll start with you, Nick. Tell the people where they can find you at.
You can find me on Instagram, Nick Espinoza _215. I do a lot. I act. I do housework, stocks. Have my inbox or whatever. You already know.
Personal trainer,
Personal training too.
Elvis. Let's go, brother.
You can find me on Instagram at EJM_aesthetics, or you can just Google me, Elvis Malcolm King Matos, and you'll find just about all my content, including all of my talks with D.I.O himself online. So I appreciate y'all's time. I appreciate the vibes, guys.
Yes, yes. Go check out his shop store. He has some fabulous merch. You guys need to cop out real quick. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.